I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what I had to teach, and not when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I am learning that there are people in this life, in our spaces, among us, who will take from our hearts and bodies everything we have to offer without feeling any tenderness for us, any sort of softness. I have known these feelings often these days. I find myself exhausted and alone. I school myself with a heavy heart, teach myself how to hold back, how to give a little less than I want to, only ever as much as I should, and balance to what I receive. It is not a way I want to be, but I am learning that for survival, I must take selfishness from the selfish. I am learning to do as is done to me, to be exactly the opposite of what I want to be. Hello and welcome. I'm Zasha Jones, and we are here today with the infamous Mark Twain, who has been brought back from the dead. So, Mr. Twain, what do you think of the United States today?
Well, I do believe that we have come a mighty long way since my time. In my time, the black people worked for us white folks against their will, and now there's a black man controlling the country.
Well, what do you think about that? Do you think change is a bad thing?
Of course not. I've always been a fan of equal rights for all. Why, just because I grew up during a time of prejudice doesn't mean that I conform to whatever the norm of the time.
So you're for equality?
Yes. Every man is entitled to his own opinion, and said opinion can change over time. Like my character Huckleberry Finn. He lived in a house with slaves, but yet by the end of the book, he had befriended one. I said it once before, and I'll say it again. There are many humorous things in the world. Among them, the white man's notion that he's less savage than the other savages.
I guess I never thought of it that way.
Whenever you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. And that's what I did then. We are all human, but we are not the same. Each and every one of us comes from a different background, a different story. Huckleberry formed his own opinion based on his past experiences, just like we all do. Never be afraid to be different.
Wow, that was truly inspiring. Do you have some words of wisdom for the viewers at home?
20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sail, explore, dream, discover.
Wow, thank you for your time, Mr. Twain.
Thank you.
Parents ignore their desires and needs in order to provide for their children. As shown in Those Winter Sundays, written by Robert Hayden, every morning parents brush off the callings of the warm, comfortable bed to once again start on their daily monotonous schedule. Nothing will ever stop them from sacrificing themselves for their beloved ones. Even when they speak indifferently to them, or when they don't notice their polished shoes, parents will always persevere for their children's future.
All right, we're outside the house of Hester Prynne. We're gonna go ask her a few questions. Come on. Hester Prynne, can we ask you a few questions?
Okay.
Don't you think Pearl needs a fatherly figure in her life?
Pearl doesn't need a father to know that she is loved and supported. She is turning out to be a great, self-reliant young lady, regardless of whether her father is here.
Very good, very good.
Okay, why don't you give Pearl away so that she can have a more wholesome life?
Pearl and I both know that we got the perfect life for who we are. Nobody could raise Pearl because only I know of what she's going through.
Why haven't you moved back to the town now that they are more accepting of you?
Pearl and I don't want to be a part of society that has already shunned us away. Besides, we wouldn't get much more advantages than the ones we have here by living in nature. When the world turns against you, you will be by yourself. It is important that you learn how to be content with who you are and live by your own terms.